Good morning, Grand Risings. How you doing this morning, Deli Sandwich? Did you watch the debate last night? Waiting for people to jump in, chime in. Thank you for joining. I did not watch the debate. Good afternoon from Indonesia. Well, thank you for joining. We're international now. Everybody's waking up and posting all their debate memes and all that stuff. Grand Rising Franny Girl, yeah. I have an internal alarm set. It doesn't matter if I went to bed at 2, I'd wake up at 3. And it's like the pets have gotten so used to me waking up at 3 a.m. that the cat wakes up the dog and they both are like, it's time for food. And then, of course, Coda, our German Shepherd, has got to go out and do his business. So, what do you do? How's your weather in Florida, Franny Girl? We had a few good days, and now the temperature is creeping back up. Of course, we got that hurricane heading our way. Yeah. Wake up at 3. Doesn't mean I'm always jumping on social media at 3. Rainy yesterday. Yeah, Florida's getting a lot of rain right now. My father-in-law lives in Apollo Beach, and they're getting hammered. I don't think we're supposed to get rain today ahead of that hurricane. By the time it gets to us, I think it's downgraded to a tropical storm. Currently, it's a Cat 2, but it's tracking to come right near us. So today's high is 81. All right. All right, so I did a quick update. Anybody catch that? Some interesting news. Mark Z shared yesterday morning. So I think it was the Wall Street Journal did a report on Iraqi banks. It could be the 5% that they are working on getting compliant. I don't know. So the article's title is Iraqi banks used US create system to funnel funds to Iran. So what Mark is kind of hypothesizing is that um, they're going to use this. I don't know if it's smoke and mirrors. I don't know if it's just, I'm not sure, but they're going to decrease the value of the dinar. So from 1310 to probably 1510, somewhere in there. Um, and then hold massive currency auctions. And then that's putting more US dollars on the street. And I know all this sounds kind of counterproductive, but then they will, by doing that, take in a big influx of dinar, and that's removing it from the streets. And then this further aids in combating inflation into Iraq. So basically, what this is doing is setting up for the rate change because it's that much more dinar off of the street. So when they flip the rate, um, it'll be more beneficial to them. So kind of weird news, but still very important moving forward. Um, Lishman was sharing a lot of articles yesterday, basically um, talking about the support that Sidani has across the board. That everyone thinks he's doing a great job. Other than the few people who are losing their cash cow because he's doing away with the parallel market. But it's again speaking to the stability in the region, that there's no fighting within their government, that everyone is on board with what Sadani is doing, the monetary reform, the stability in the region, stability in the banking. And, Iraq is kind of becoming the voice of reason for the region. They're doing what they can with this whole Israel nonsense. So, Gemini Cowgirl, glad you can make it. Yeah, I'm going to try to do better on my end at scheduling these things. 5 o'clock seems to be the good window. I do the subs. I don't have a figure as far as like um, what a goal is, but I would imagine that these currency auctions are going to be pretty massive. So um, I would think it's going to be in the millions, trillions of dinar getting off the street. Delhi, do you think Iraq can RI this month? Yeah, definitely. I think everything's on the table. Um, we're we still have almost 3 weeks left in the month, so it's very. And I always go back to the discussion on in Frank 26 world with oh man, I'm just drew a blank. The guy, the president of the bank in Michigan and walking stick, Aki. Um, and he said that it'll happen by October. So that means the end of September. So I definitely think it could be this month. That's what I'm looking for. And again, it's the no matter what I hear about the shotgun start and everything, I just always when I mainly focus on what's happening in Iraq with the NAR, um, and for the main reason it's the easiest to track because there's so many articles about it. and Iraq is the linchpin to the whole global RV. Um, so you kind of have to ride two horses. If you're in the global shotgun RV thing, then the markers that you have to look for are fines and penalties being paid, CMKX claim holders getting their money, bonds people being paid out. There's things that have to happen before you're going to see some sort of a notification um, in the global RV model. Now, if Iraq is going to go ahead of the RV, then we have to keep watching the articles. We have to keep plugged in with Militiaman and Mark and Frank. So there are key steps that we're seeing for the process. And I don't want to split hairs with RI, RV, and all that stuff, but the whole process of getting a new rate from Iraq. So there's important steps forward, and this kind of weird, bizarre news is one of those steps. Sudani being validated across the board is an important step, because there has to be stability in Iraq in order for the whole rate change process to move forward. It's like, how much is the U.S. Treasury involved in all that? And we know that they are, but they're not going to green light it if there's constant fighting and turmoil within Iraq. And they keep trying. There was a report about 2 days ago where some U.S. service members were attacked. So they keep trying to, the old guard, the people that don't want this stuff to happen, they keep trying to instigate instability in Iraq. But to the praise of Sudani and his people, that they're on top of it and they get it dealt with. So what these people are meaning for harm is turning around to bite them in the ass, because Sudani's like right on top of it. It's dealt with, it's done, and that just lends itself to the stability inside of Iraq. So it's good stuff. So yes, to answer your question, I definitely think this could be the month. Anyone else joining in? Good morning, Grand Risings. So I know today's 9/11, and it's kind of a touchy situation for people, but let's maybe share some of the bizarre memories you guys have of that day. It was definitely a weird feeling that day. I mean, because where I worked at the time, I was in Cincinnati, and I was doing construction work. I drove a dump truck, and we were doing this big project, and it was right in a flight path to the Cincinnati airport. So there's constantly jets flying overhead. And it's like you get on a job site for a while and it just becomes background noise. Well, then on 9/11, when they grounded all the planes, and all of a sudden that background noise was gone, man, it was very surreal, eerie kind of feeling. And then I got back to, they called us all back because they were, they were wanting to get people off the streets. Um, and then so we saw the footage of the second explosion. And I say explosion because it was CGI. Heard Iraq cannot survive with, trying to read it. On my end, there's some sort of emoji button that covers that part of the text. So Subs is saying, heard Iraq cannot survive with 13, looks like 20 or 10. I can't read it. There it is. Rate by the end of the 3rd of September. Is that true? Are you saying the 31st? 3rd week of September. Okay. Here's the thing. They're running 2 sets of books. So on one book, you have things that are transpiring in real life with a real rate. And then you have another book that they're showing what life looks like at 1310. So reality, all we're waiting for is them to reveal the rate and connect the 2 books and then watch the whole rate change RIRV process roll out. So, but yeah, it's kind of like on the set of books that's running on 1310. There's no way they're operating in a deficit, so that can only go on for so long. But I guess at some point it will force the rate change to be revealed. But yeah, they're operating on 2 sets of books, so and everyone knows it. So it's kind of like, let's just quit with the games and reveal the rate. What else you guys got? Did anybody watch the debate last night? I did not. I never watched them. I've seen clips of it this morning, and they were pretty typical debate stuff. Everyone's against Trump and trying to support the clown. And she was wearing these giant earrings that were like a speaker, and they were like coaching her on what to say. It was, the clown world continues. Guys got any other questions? Don't want to keep everybody on here for too long if we don't have things to talk about. I appreciate y'all joining. What else? Let's see. What else can we find to talk about? Well, that's interesting. The Kremlin says it will respond appropriately if U.S. allows Ukraine missile strikes in Russia. Still barking the dogs of war. That's basically it on Dinar news from yesterday morning till today. So I imagine there's going to be some interesting stuff come out, especially with this news out of about the temporary decrease in the rate. So that'll be interesting to see how that falls. Any backlash from that. Guys, have any questions? Got anything you want to talk about? I don't want to keep this going if uh, everyone's getting ready for work and heading out or getting your morning started, whatever your situation is. Will Iraq come out at 70 cents over $3? It's very, very, very possible. Again, their reinstated rates 322, and then they have um, a lot more resources than when it was devalued. So it just depends on if it's going to be a float or not, and it's kind of the major talking heads keep going back and forth about um, is it going to be a managed float? Is it just going to come out the gate with a real effective exchange rate? Um, Basically, that means no float, just hit straight out to the cap. So I don't know if it'll be that much. That could be the capped rate. I don't, in my opinion only, I don't think the rate will go over $4. It just doesn't make sense. But I think the reinstated rate will be greater than 322. It's only Stace. Good morning. Any news to hang on to? No, I can't stand to watch 2 seconds of her. Her, some person wearing a Kamala mask. The biggest news, thanks for joining. We were talking about, there was an article, I think it was from the Wall Street Journal, something about Iraqi banks funneling money to Iran, and that they've clamped down on that. So basically, there's going to be a temporary reduction in the rate of dinar. So that means for $1, we were at 13.10. So it's going to go to 15.10, somewhere in there. And then they're going to have currency auctions to pull more dinar off the street. And then that's going to set up for a rate change. So that's the biggest news since yesterday. So that's what we're going to be watching today to see what kind of reactions and shockwaves that sends. And most people in this world are going to lose their mind because instead of going with the new rate change, it seems to be going the other way. So you'll see a lot of people upset about that on Telegram and wherever you join in at. But I think it's going to ultimately be a good move, a good chess move. And we should be seeing the rate change hopefully sooner than later. But I still think it's going to be this month. It's just kind of where I've been at for a while. I try not to get into politics and watching Trump rallies and debates and all that stuff because it's like it's if you're in the movie camp, it's all scripted. It's all for theater, for the sheeple. And so I just don't waste my time with it. It's going to be what it's going to be. I just hope that we get the SCOTUS overturning it and we kick off Nasara and we can move on with life. Watching the debates and all these things is just kind of like chewing gum. Zero value added. But there's a lot of people that hang on that stuff and they watch every second of it. All right, guys, we've been on here for about 25 minutes or so I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks for watching. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your comments. It helps me kind of steer this thing and bring you stuff that you want to see or talk about. So that's it for this morning. And like I said, as all like I say every day, as things unfold and we get any big news, I'll jump on and do a quick live or a quick video and update you guys. So I've only been in this for about 4 years, small amount of time compared to most. Oh, you're welcome, and I appreciate your time. And thank you guys for joining, liking, sharing, subscribing, all that stuff. And if you have people who are on the fence that you've been talking to, I would stress the urgency because I don't think we have much time left in this thing. So again, thanks for watching. Happy Wednesday. Take a moment to reflect on 9/11 and get ready because I think next few weeks are going to be exciting. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys later.